This is the tutorial on movie clip symbols and button symbols, and will be broken into multiple parts. You'll be able to stop it and start it as you need. Start with ActionScript 2 file, and let's save that to your animation folder as movie clip and button symbols. We're going to start by making 3 layers. We already have one. Call that one navigation or just nav. Another new layer called actions, and the last one called symbols. We're going to start by setting up our navigation. We want this to have 3 different locations we can navigate to with our buttons. So our navigation layer is going to be the layer we're going to use for that, so we'll lock up the other ones. On our first layer, when we click on the frame for that, we'll see on the sidebar over here in Properties that there's a place to put a label name. We will call that Home. We'll then right click on the 5th frame of the navigation layer. Okay, 5th frame of the navigation layer. We'll insert a blank keyframe. We will label that one Circle. We're going to put a circle on that frame. And then the same thing for the 10th frame. Right click, insert blank keyframe again, and call that one Square. Just so we can see the name here, we're going to actually insert a regular frame, just a regular insert frame on the 15th frame. That's a static frame. So now when we scrub through it, we can see we have Home, Circle, and Square. Nothing on this yet. Quick Command S to save that. Now we're going to start with Insert, New Symbol. Our movie clip is going to be our star, so we're going to call it Star. It's actually a spinning star, so we'll call it Spinning Star. We'll grab our Polystar tool. For options, make sure we have star selected, not polygon. I'm going to make mine an 8-sided star. I'm going to make sure it's yellow with a black outside edge. I'm just going to make myself a star there. I'm going to center it a little bit on my screen. If you want it perfectly centered, you can use your free transform tool and line up that little circle in the center with the crosshair. We want to create a tween for this, and it's going to be a motion tween or a classic tween. That means we have to group all this first. So select it all, do Command G for group to create the group. We're going to have this last for 1 second long. It's 24 frames per second, as we can see right here. So on my 24th frame, I will right click and choose Insert Keyframe. Insert Keyframe. I will now go back and right click on the first frame and choose Create Classic Tween. In my Properties box, I want that to rotate clockwise 1 time. Test that by hitting return. We should see our star spinning. I'm going to go back to scene 1 now. Click on our library. Here's our spinning star. And we'll put multiple copies of our spinning star on screen. Hit Q on your keyboard and we can scale some of these things. And as we spoke about in class, these all will operate without having to worry about timelines. Right? They'll operate on their own timeline. But right now, if we hit Command Enter, we won't see them very long, will we? because in our timeline up at the top here, there's nothing to stop the playback head from moving through all 15 frames. So right now it's looping through the 15 frames and coming back the first frame again. So we're seeing this for about 5 frames right in here, and that's about it. So we want to control that. We're going to control that with an action script. Quick save on that. So I'll lock my nav. Actually, before I do that, these symbols are in the wrong layer. They're actually in my nav layer, which I don't want. So I'm going to select them all. I'm going to cut them, unlock my symbols layer, click on that, and paste them. So edit paste or Command V to paste them in. I'm going to lock my nav layer so I don't make that mistake again. Now, I'm going to relock my symbols. I'm going to go to my actions layer. Don't actually have to unlock it to put some code in here. I'm going to right click on the first frame and choose actions from the very bottom of my menu. Inside our actions window here, as we spoke about last day, we have a current selection down here. We have the various scripts we use up top here and the panel here where the scripts go. In this case, our current selection is Actions Frame 1, which is good. That's what we want it to be, Actions Frame 1. And we would like this thing to be paused and not be moving. So we're looking for some kind of timeline control. So when I click on timeline control, sure enough, there's a stop. So I can either drag this over or double click. Either way, it puts it in place here. And we see it says stop, it has an open and close brackets, which are for parameters. There are no parameters, but the brackets need to be there, and the semicolon. We can check our code by clicking on this little blue checkbox right here. Click on that, and it tells us there are no errors, no warnings. If we now test our movie, Command Enter, we can see that it stops in place, and all our stars spin. Do a quick save. That's the end of part 1 of the tutorial.